greatest warrior as well. So there is a story there. One of Krishna's wives, her name was Lakshmana. Name was Lakshmana. And Draupadi happened to be talking to Lakshmana, and she says, "How did you get married to Krishna?" So Lakshmana says that my father did Swayamvar, and the condition of that Swayamvar was exactly the same that Arjuna, did for Subhadra. He did it, no? Like the fish, what did Arjuna have to do? Draupadi it was for her. So the fish was rotating on the top, and there was a pool of water downstairs, a pond, like a tank, and the reflection of that rotating fish was in the water. Now Arjun or whoever could look at the reflection and shoot an arrow into the eye of that fish. The fish is moving round and round, and the reflect. So you cannot look at the fish. You have to look at the reflection and shoot. And that's what Arjun had done for Draupadi. But Lakshman says that this. She says, my father had kept that same Swayamvar, and Krishna did it. So, it's a little bit of a thing for Draupadi also that, okay, somebody else, she thought only Arjun could do it. So that was another thing. Another thing also is that Arjun, one thing is that, see, Karna's arrows, Karna was also a great warrior, as we know it. So Arjun and Karna were like, they were like enemies, and Karna's arrows, they were shaking Arjuna's chariot. So actually it was like his arrows were more powerful than Arjuna's. So one thing is Arjuna asks that how come you're praising Karna after the war? He asks Bhagwan, how come you praise Karna so much? He says, think about it, I was on your chariot and Hanumanji was, in the Mahabharata war, Krishna, he calls Hanumanji. Hanuman is Chiranjeev, no? He got a boon from Sri Ram that you will constantly remain in this world. So he calls Hanuman and he says, you go sit on the flag of Arjuna's chariot. So if you see, the flag has Hanumanji there. So Hanumanji is sitting there. I'm sure it's here too. Yeah. So if you look at even at the book, there's Hanumanji, see? He's sitting with the tail, right? So that's Hanuman. So Hanuman is sitting on top. Bhagwan is standing as the charioteer or sitting as the charioteer. And yet, if Karna's arrows can shake your chariot with what strength? Hanuman, what strength, He said, if Hanuman was not there and if I was not there, you would have been thrown out of the chariot. So this thing to say that I am Sri Ram is in one way to make sure that Arjuna doesn't get arrogant. See, because ego is the only thing that is standing between us and God, right? So as a well-wisher of ours, God will always try to prick our ego. That is the idea. Jashanam Makara. So among the fish, I'm the shark, the biggest, right? Shark, biggest. It's same like saying I'm the sun among the luminaries. And among the rivers, I'm Janvi, Ganges. So we know people do have faith that if they go and, take a bath in the Ganges, they get purified. Ganges, the real subjective meaning of that thing is Ganges represents knowledge. And so dip in the Ganges means dip into knowledge. Get the knowledge, the real knowledge of who you are, and that is what will purify you for good. But people who have faith, they have faith. Even faith can sometimes do tricks, right? Faith can give. So people go. There's a beautiful, beautiful story that comes to my mind, which I heard when I was studying in Sandipani. So Namdev, one of the Marathi saints, and I believe it was Namdev. Namdev was, yeah. So Namdev was traveling with his parents, and he would serve his parents, and in that it was like a dharmashala, like modern day hotel, but that time, those times. So in the middle of the night, one night, he was awake and then he saw these five ladies. There was a rishi, there was a Mahatma staying in that dharmashala as well at that time. And he saw these five ladies with all these dirty, dirty clothes walking into the Mahatma's room. So he was curious. He said, "Why? What is going on?" So he waits there for them. And after a little while, they come and they are all in brand new saris and totally clean and everything, and they're walking away. So he gets very curious. He said, "What is going on?" And then he sees the next night. So 2, 3 nights go, and the same thing is happening. The same ladies are coming, and they're with dirty clothes. And then when they go, they are with all brand new clothes and clean. So he can't contain himself. So he stops them one day. He says, "Oh, I've been watching you guys. You come and then." So they said, "We are the five rivers. We are Ganges, Narmada, Saraswati, the five major rivers." And she says, they say all day long, people come and they wash their sins in us. And we get all their sins. So we are very, very dirty. So we come at the night to the Mahatma to get purified. He is the one that purifies us. He's a realized master. He purifies us and then we go back. And that's why when we go back, we are all cleansed and purified. So this story just came to my mind. Anyway, so he is the Ganges among his vibhuti is Ganges among the rivers. सर्गाणाम् आदिरन्तश्च मध्यं चैवाहमर्जुन अध्यात्मविद्या विद्यानां वादप्रवदतामहम्. Among creations, I am the beginning, the middle, and also the end. O Arjuna, among sciences, I am the science of the self, and I am the logic in all arguments. So creations, remember, see the word is plural. So which means this is not the only creation. Many, many creations have happened. And all the creations, I am the originator, the creator, Brahmaji. I am the sustainer. Middle is what? Beginning is what? Creation, Brahmaji. Middle, sustenance, Vishnu, and destruction, Pralaya. So at the time of Pralaya, everything goes back to me. So every creation, so every thought, every action, this is what we have to remember. Creation is not the whole that is this thing. But for us, so anytime I start any work, Swamiji, even my dad did it. Swamiji, they sit in my car, they'll say something, Har Har Mahadev, Shri Ram, Jai, something. So at the beginning of any endeavor, remember him. In the middle, because if that work is being sustained, otherwise we lose inspiration, right? And say, oh God, I've been trying for so long and it doesn't happen, and we give up. So in the middle, and at the end, whether it is a success or it is not a success, remember him, because he had said this before also. Remember that I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of everything. So this is a very simple instruction for us to keep in mind. If you can't remember all these other vibhutis, it doesn't matter. Just remember this. So think of him when you start anything. That's the reason, when we start class, we always start with prayer, na? Some little prayer. There's no mission class which has started without a prayer. No one, including Gurudev and Guruji and Sopanaji, right? At least they will say, Om Shri Saraswate Nama, Om Shri Ganeshaya Nama. So salutation is always there. So we start and we end also with prayer. Purnamada or whatever, end also with prayer. So that is the idea there. I'm Atma Vidya. Why Atma Vidya? Because Atma Vidya, knowledge of the self, is the only one that will remove our miseries forever and ever. All other knowledges in the material world, yes, you might get wealth, you might get fame, you might get name, fame, everything, but your sorrows, it cannot take away. Money cannot take away sorrow. Fame cannot take money. Actually, there's more fear. Now, who will ask for my money? Who will take away I told you, Indra also is the king of the heavens, is fearful that somebody will take away my post. So among all these knowledge, that's why he says knowledge of the self means that is where you will actually know me. That's why when he started his vibhutis, first he started with I am inside, the one who is inside. You yourself are my vibhuti. Thought is my vibhuti. Vasana is my vibhuti. I am the substratum of thought. That's where he started this vibhuti yoga. So Atma Vidya, of course, Adhyatma Vidya or Atma Vidya, it becomes it's his vibhuti. So if we can have even a little bit of clarity, even if we are able to study this knowledge, then it's his grace. So he says, because that is the one thing only that is the greatest purifier, that is the greatest remover of sorrows, is to know our own identity. Once we know our own identity, there will not be any confusion in our duty. What do I have to do in this at this particular time, in this particular moment? Identity, final identity, the highest identity is we are the self. But in the transactional world, we assume various identities. And as per those identities, we need to behave. We need to act as per those identities. Then we would never go wrong. But the highest is always, of course, knowing ourselves to be that self. The self in me is the self in all. That is the highest. And Vada. So there are 4 types of discussions. We have seen these in other classes. But anyway, one is Jalpa, Vikalpa, Vada, and Samvada. These are the 4 types. Jalpa is where I have no intention of reaching the truth. I just want to make sure that the other person thinks I'm right. Even if I'm not right, that's Jalpa. Vitanda is where I have no intention of going to the truth. I only want to make sure that the other person is incorrect, is wrong. That's all my aim is, that you are wrong, no matter what you say. So there were these 2 people who were having a discussion, and finally the other person got really tired, and he said, "You know what? It's okay. I agree with what you say." He says, "Now I've changed my mind. Now I'm the opposite." So the idea is only to make the other person be wrong. Third is Vada. Vada happens between 2 equals. And Vada happens because both of them have an intention of reaching the truth. The example of Vada is what happened between Bhagwan Shankaracharya and Mandan Mishra. Mandan Mishra was the one who was the leading disciple of Prabhakarila Bhatta, who was the expounder of Karma Kanda. And they were both equals, because equals in the sense, Bhagwan Shankaracharya, of course, Advait Vedantin, Mandan Mishra, Karma Kanda. He believed that karma can do anything. It is said that he had a parrot who would chant the full Vedas, because he taught the parrot to chant all 4 Vedas that parrot could chant. So he believed. So he was also a master in his own field. Bhagwan Shankaracharya was a master. And then they had an argument, and he argued for 18 days. It wasn't easy to stand in front of or sit in front of Bhagwan Shankaracharya. So if somebody could stay there for 18 days, you can tell. He, of course, lost in the end, and he became Bhagwan Shankaracharya's leading disciple, who is Sureshwaracharya, who has written commentaries on Bhagwan's commentary. So Sureshwaracharya has written commentary. He has written on and Bhagwan's text also. Atma Bodh is Bhagwan's text. So he wrote the commentary on Atma Bodh. He has written. Also, he has written Vartika. So he has written a commentary on the commentary of Bhagavad Gita. So that is called Vartika. So Vada happens between 2 equals. And here Bhagwan is saying, I am Vada, because then it is, because both parties are equal and they are trying to reach the truth. Samvada happens between one who has recognized the other person to be superior. So that is between Arjuna and Krishna, whatever is happening right now. That is Samvada, where Arjuna has recognized that Bhagwan, Shri Krishna knows more than what I do. I am confused about my duty, but Bhagwan can guide me. That is the idea. And so now I don't know. Now you tell me. That is what Samvad is. Vad is, I know this and I now what is true. Let's both this thing. So among these 4 types of discussions, Bhagwan is saying, I'm Vada. So I'm the one that happens between 2 equals to reach the truth. Okay. अक्षराणामकारोऽस्मि द्वन्द्वसामासिकस्य च अहमेवाक्षयः कालो धाताहं विश्वतो मुखः. Among letters, I am the letter in Sanskrit. Among all compounds, I am the dual coordinates. I am verily the inexhaustible or the everlasting time. I am the all-faced dispenser of fruits of actions, having faces in all directions. So the letter A, it's like, the alphabet, the number one, there cannot be any other numeral without the one. So also, especially in Sanskrit literature, in Sanskrit alphabets, is the only complete alphabet. The all other alphabets are called halanta. Halanta means what? They're only half. And so they're unstable. It's like you're trying to stand on one leg, you won't be as stable as you're on two legs. So every alphabet after requires the a to complete it. So curve is curve with a little thing, is k is half, h is half, everything. And when you add the then it becomes ka, full her, means it stabilizes. So akshara, this alphabet in Sanskrit, is the stabilizer of all other alphabets. And all alphabets, as we know them, represent all the names. And then the names means they're representing all the forms. And so the first stabilizer is That's why he says, I am in the aksharas. Because I am the one that is stabilizing this whole world of names and forms. And we know that, right? As the substratum, he's the one that is stabilizing. It's like, because of that substratum, all this, like if you go to a movie, if there was no screen, in the movie example, he would say, I am the screen. Because without the screen, you cannot see the movie. So without the alphabets cannot get stabilized, and then the words cannot be formed. So he says, I'm the samasa, it is samasa and sandhi. These terms belong to Sanskrit grammar. Sandhi is when two words are joined. So aksharanam akarosmi, asmi. So this is a sandhi there. That is what. Okay, so it is aksharanam akaraha asmi. That is the break. So that is the sandhi. But samas is when two words are just two full words are joined. See, in sandhi, the alphabet sort of, they get cut and they get joined with the other one. That is what sandhi means. So it is akshara nam. See, that ma is full here, but akshara nam, the ma is half. And then the is there. So akaraha. That is there. That is stabilizing the ma. The ma is half actually in akshara nam. That's half ma. Then there is akaraha. So aksharanam and akara. So that ma and are joined. Ma became full, and therefore the word became aksharanam aksharanam ka akarosmi. Asmi. Then again that asmi is there. So that is sandhi. Now in samas, there are many types of samas. I'm not going to go into the details. I'm not very, very familiar with I know just the basics of grammar. So in there is what is known as a dvandva samas. This dvandva it's dual, but it's not a fight. Dvandva is also fight. No, where both words have equal footing. That is what it is. So Ram Krishna is a dvandva samas, where Rama on its own it can stand, Krishna on its own it can stand, the word can stand on its own. There is no joining of the alphabets. Ram is full, Krishna is full, Ka, and then half Ra, and then Krishna. So both words are full. They just come together to become Ram Krishna. That is dvandva samasa. So among all these various samasas in grammar, he says, I'm dvandva, because there's equal footing for both words. That is why he's saying, I'm dvandva samas. Okay? And then I am verily the or everlasting. So everlasting time, anything that is born in time, we know will end in time. There's no ifs and buts. There's no doubts about it. But when he says, I am everlasting time, he indicates I am beyond time. Time is in me. Time began, time and space came from Brahman. Before, when there was only Brahman, there was no time and there was no time. Is what is time? Time is the interval between two thoughts. Time is the interval between two points. Space is the interval between 2 points. Okay. But when there is only one point, that's why the unit of time is second. There has to be, but suppose if there's only one, then there's no second. You see, there has to be a gap for time to come. So when he says I'm inexhaustible, means everything in time is ending, but I am inexhaustible. So you are not in time, that means. Because if you are in time, then you would exhaust. But I am inexhaustible, he says. So he is indicating I'm beyond time. He says, he will say this in 11th chapter also, that I am beyond time. So I am beyond death, basically, that's what. I am the all-faced karma phaladata, all-faced dispenser of fruits means faces in all directions, means I know what effort a person has put in right now, but I also know what efforts he has put in the previous births. All faced. So he knows all three periods of time because he's above time. When you go to a higher, you can go up a higher building, taller building, you have a better view, right? As you go up. So from the hot air balloon, you have a full view, na? If you go on top, you can see what is this side and this side also. But if you're right in the middle, then you can't see very well. So being beyond time, he can see what has happened in the past, what we have done in the past, what we have done in the present. And that's why he becomes the ultimate karma phaladata. That's why when people say, I did and I got, and where is God in that? That is where God is. That if you were successful, which means you have done something in the past to facilitate that success. And that is where God is coming in. It's not just, and if you fail, then it's not, you should know that it is not just the efforts in this life that I've put in. There's something in my past which I have done, which is an obstacle. In your normal life also, when you try to do some things, everything happens very smoothly. Have you had that experience? You try to book a ticket, you try to go on the internet, look for something, online shopping, whatever. Otherwise, there is so many obstacles. Something or the other is, this is not working, that is not working. That is because of something in the past. So you have to understand that if everything has gone smoothly, oh, okay, everything went smoothly. Otherwise, then there are these obstacles. So he says, understand that I am the karma phaladata. So surrender and accept. What happens is when you understand that I am not myself responsible for the results that I'm getting, then that idea of surrender will come. See, because young people, they think, I did and I got. Like, what? I studied, so I got a good, a good degree, a good job, a good this, good that. Now, where is God in all this? But this is what we need to understand, that He is the giver of all fruits. मृत्यु सर्वहरश्चाहम् उद्भवश्च भविष्यताम् कीर्ति श्रीर्वाक् च नारीणाम् स्मृतिर्मेधा धृति क्षमाः. And I am all devouring death and the prosperity of those who are to be prosperous. Among the feminine qualities, I am fame, prosperity, speech, memory, intelligence, firmness, and forgiveness. I am the all-devouring death. We know that at the time of Pralaya, everything will go back into him. So the final death, which is for all, the whole yuga is going to end in him. But because he's the karma phaladata, and then so death, you can take it as physical death in this world also. It is Lord Yama, means I am Lord Yama. He's the controller of Yama. Okay, Lord Yama, and I think I've told this to Ajamil, where Ajamil said Narayan. There was one the gentleman whose son was named Narayan, and at the time of his death, he said Narayan. So of course, Lord Yama's he was not living a very dharmic life. So Lord Yama's messengers came on the other side. They were Lord Vishnu's messengers, and they said, no, no, he has not led us. They said, no, no, but he called Narayan's name, so that's why we are here to take him. So they asked Lord Yama. Lord Yama says, no, he's my boss. So if if he has sent his messengers, then better send him with him. I cannot. So this is what it is. He says, I am, it's me only. The Lord of Death is me only. And the prosperity of those whatever. So Shri is prosperity. Bhaga, Shri. So there is one prosperity which is material and one prosperity which is spiritual. So idea when he says, I am the prosperity, means if you get material prosperity also, remember that it is his grace. So thank you. And if you get spiritual prosperity, that means you're actually more lucky than the one who has that material prosperity. And if you have both, then it's fantastic. Like the Birlas, the Birlas, they are very, very religious, spiritual. They've been told that they have these Birla temples, right? Delhi, Jaipur, etc. I think they got one in Goa now. So they have been told that what they do is they built one, and then the proceeds from that temple, when that came, they built another one, because their astrologer, whoever has told them, if you stop building the temples, you will lose your wealth. So all the proceeds from one temple go into the next one. That's why all these temples are coming up. And the first week in December is reserved. Every quarter in their Birla house, which is in Calcutta, they will have a Mahatma once a quarter. And December 1 to 7 was given to Chinmay Mission. So Gurudev always went there. Those were the dates. Chinmay Mission was there. And one of our Swamijis who was with Gurudev once in that Birla house, he was telling us that, these ladies, I don't think they ever lifted a glass of water in their life, but when it was Gurudev, no servant came near. All the ladies were doing seva to Gurudev. So he says, I think that's the only time when they lifted glasses of water. Otherwise, it's all, but that is spiritual emancipation as well as material prosperity. We've seen in chapter 6 this thing that so either way, if you get whatever that you have, understand that it is his vibhuti. It is his grace is there. That's why I have this. Understand it. Okay. And then if you have material prosperity, and if you do understand that it is his grace, then try and do some charity. Try to distribute it to those who don't have things. Okay. That's the thing. Among the feminine qualities, I'm fame. So same thing. If you are famous, good name. Fame is good name, not the bad name. Good name, then that's me. Prosperity again. So prosperity can be both. Speech, walk. See, we saw in the same chapter, he said, I am Agni. Among the Vasus, I am Agni, fire. So we know that fire is the presiding deity of speech, and that fire can become a bridge. So you have a fiery speech, you can create wars. You can create differences in people, your speech. But at the same time, you can say, I am Aham Brahmasmi, and create oneness. So that's why that Agni becomes a bridge. So here he's saying speech. If you use the speech to reach him, like Aham Brahmasmi, like morning class we saw, Satatam abhyasa, right? Always, if I practice saying I am Brahman, then at some point in some birth, I will become Brahman. Because as you think, so shall you become. So speech, memory, and so there is two words here, smriti and medha. This smriti also is memory, medha also is memory. But smriti is memory of in the transactional world. So when people have a sharp memory, especially people are sharp, last you were not nice to me, or those type of memories also we have, right? You did not do right by me. You did something wrong. All that type. So in the transactional, but Medha is that intelligence. That's why it's translated here as memory and intelligence. That intelligence which makes me remember the Lord. That is Medha. There's a Medha Suktam also. So we're told that we should be chanting Medha Suktam every day. So There's a Medha, so Durga Suktam is there. All the suktas are there. Medha Suktam is one of them. Medha is that power of memory which retains spiritual knowledge. So when we have to do prachar and the brahmacharis have to do, right? What they need is medha more than smriti. Medha has to be there. So that it is memory, but it is more to do on the spiritual side. Smriti is more to do on the material side. Dhriti, perseverance, lot is required, especially on the spiritual path. I mean, even in the material world, when you want to climb up the corporate ladder, you need perseverance, right? Anything, to do anything, we get tired of doing things, but if you're doing a complicated recipe also, or if you're traveling long distances, you need that perseverance. And especially in spiritual studies, perseverance is very, very important. Remember, Dhriti came first in Tattvabodh. It is Vivek, Vairagya, Shat Sampati. It is one of the Shat Sampati, right? So perseverance to do tapas, to study, to lead a disciplined life. How much perseverance we need, right? Otherwise, it's, I don't want to get up today. I don't want to go for a walk today. So we do. So that's why it's very, very essential. So if we have that perseverance, know that it is a manifestation of the Lord. That is the idea. If I have that medha, know that it is his manifestation. If I have smriti also, know that it is. That is the idea here, okay? That's why he's saying. So don't think, see, I'm so good. I can remember everything that I read. And don't bring the I in there, the small I. That is the ego. Don't bring it in. Say, thank you, Lord. I could do this. I could say this, right? So that's why. And forgiveness. Forgiveness will give peace of mind. We have talked about forgiveness a lot. Highest forgiveness is when you don't even think that the other person did anything wrong. But even if you think, you forgive and forget. Not like, yeah, okay. But last time we met, you said this, not like that. So that highest forgiveness, that is his manifest. If we can forgive, before forgiving others, we must be able to forgive ourselves also. And forgiveness will bring peace of mind. And peace of mind is the one greatest quality that is required for reaching the self. Purity of mind. We have talked about purity so much, right? A pure mind is a peaceful mind. When there is agitation in the mind, know that there is impurity. So if the mind is pure and peaceful, answers will come nicely too. That's why in the seat of meditation, sometimes we have problems, answers will come. And when that thought comes, then you immediately bring God in there. Thank you, Lord, you gave me this thought. Not like, oh, see, I had this thought and now not like that. It shouldn't be like that. So that is these are his vibhutis. That's what he's telling us, okay? Remember that all vibhutis are told for us to remember him. So if you can remember him without the vibhutis, fantastic. This is the support. Vibhutis are the support. He's giving us the support. Learn to remember him without support. For no reason. Because. Why did you do because? So why did you remember him? Because. No, I remember him because I want something. Not like that. Because. Like that. So that should come. बृहत्सां तथा साम्नां गायत्री छन्दसामहं मासानां मार्गशीर्षोऽहं ऋतूनां कुसुमाकरः. Among hymns also, I am the Brihat Saman. Among meters, Gayatri am I. Among months, I am parts of December, Jan, right? December, January, Margashirsha. Among seasons, I am the flowery spring. This already he said that among the four Vedas, I'm Samaveda. And I told you that Samaveda is Giti Pradhan. Giti, the meters are such that you can sing them. They all have meters. And when do we sing? When we are happy. So happiness within our heart is a manifestation of Bhagwan, because Bhagwan alone is the source of happiness. So if we are feeling happy for any reason, then know that it is his. So here among this Samavedas, there is one which is known as Brihat Saman, probably more melodious. Maybe the meters are more melodious, maybe because of that. But among the Samaveda, he says, I'm Brihat Saman. So there must be various, parts, and this is one of them. Meters, we have Anushtup, Trishtup, right? We are doing Anushtup right now. This thing next chapter will be all Anushtup. This is Trishtup, Anushtup, because there are more syllables in there, so there's a different meter. Gayatri is one of them. This is not Gayatri mantra. They're not Gayatri mantra, but meters. He says, I am the Gayatri. Not much. There's no story there. If there is, I don't know. So Gayatri. And months, he says December, January. I suppose it's because cooler months. That's all. Margashirsha. And seasons, see, now after this winter, spring will come. So in spring, everything starts flowering, blossoming. We have the cherry blossom. It brings happiness to us. Anything that manifests happiness, remember it is from him alone. Okay, so spring is the one, all the leaves start coming. Creation is sort of happening again in among the seasons. Then there all the leaves will come, the flowers will come. Now all trees, especially behind my house, I can see only stalks. Now when the leaves come, they look beautiful. That's why he says, I am the spring season. द्यूतं छलयतामस्मि तेजस्तेजस्विनामहं जयोऽस्मि व्यवसायोऽस्मि सत्वं सत्त्ववतामहम्. I am the gambling of the fraudulent. I am the splendor of the splendid. I am victory. I am determination of those who are determined. I am the goodness of the good. So in gambling, the deceitness, he says, is coming from, see, we have to understand one thing, that if we keep saying good is coming from him, then is bad coming from somewhere else? That is what is to be understood. So there is a story here, the Dyutam, we know, the great, gambling thing that happened between the Pandavas and the Kauravas. And Shakuni was basically responsible for that, right? For making those dice, which were which were not favorable to the Pandavas. They were only favorable to the Kauravas. So there is a story where there was a person who had these many mirrors, but he had one magical mirror. Now, in that magical mirror, when you looked in it, generally a mirror is you'll see your own reflection. And but this magical mirror was such that it would show you the face of the beloved of Lord Krishna. Okay, so every person who looked in that mirror thought they should see their own face, right? But except it is said they saw the face of Shakuni Mama. So they were surprised. They said, what is this? Is Shakuni Bhagwan's favorite? They say, yes, he's Bhagwan's favorite. Why? Because he says, unless Shakuni had not done this game of dice, the war would not have happened. And the war had to happen. Because why? Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. One purpose of my taking avatar is to destroy this adharma that is Kauravas are representing. Now, how that war will happen? Unless he does something wrong, unless they go to exile, and unless Draupadi is insulted, and unless all these things would have happened, how I will fulfill the purpose of my birth, of my avatar? Yada yada hi dharmasya. So he says, no, Shakuni. If you look at Ramayana, mantra. If he was talking about Ramayana, he would have said, mantra is my beloved. Why? Because without mantra, Ram would not have gone to the forest. Then who would have killed Ravana? Who would have killed? In Tulsi Ramayana, actually, Tulsidas ji writes, all the devas who were captured by Ravana, they went and they begged of Saraswati. Devi Saraswati, they begged, they said, please go and sit on Manthara's tongue and make her say all those things that she said, you will be second queen, she will be favorite, he'll be there. All that thing that Manthara said was prompted by Devi Saraswati because all the gods were begging her. Same thing they say in, Ravan and Vibhishan and Kumbhakarna, they all three brothers, they are half brothers. They all did tapasya. Okay. And Ravana asked for whatever he wanted, the strength. Vibhishan asked for darshan of Lord. Kumbhakarna wanted to ask for Indra's position. That is what he's going to. So Indra found out. Indra is, I told you, the greatest fearful person on this whole cosmos is Indra. He found out. He said, "Oh my God, this guy is going to ask for my position." He got scared. He went to Devi Saraswati. He said, "Please, please do something." So it is said that instead of saying Indra, he said Nidra. She made him do that. So Bhagwan said Tathastu. So he slept for 6 months and just got up for 6 months. So this is why that's what they say. The idea is we should not hate them. We hate them now. Shakuni did. No, but understand, because that also is God's play. It is Leela. It is Leela. So if we are told not to hate Shakuni and Manthara and Kumbhakarna, then what about these ordinary people in our life? Why should we hate anybody? Then nobody is as bad as Manthara and Shakuni, right? That's the point. That is the point. So understand. So that's why he says the deceit is me. I am the deceit who made all this happen so that the war would happen. Then his Leela, he tried to avoid the war also. That is also there from the side of the Pandavas. But war happened anyways. And it had to happen. Because if they had to destroy all the Kaurava forces, then there had to be a big war. And everybody sacrificed, right? Pandavas' children all died. The Kauravas all died. So everybody sacrificed. Everybody sacrificed in that war. But it had to happen. All right. Tejas Vinamaham. So splendor of the splendid, right? We have seen this in chapter 7 also. I'm the intelligence among the intelligent. So I'm the victory, the that's why I told you. If you have perseverance, if you have any good qualities, understand it is the Lord is manifesting in your heart. So if you have a thought, oh, I should help somebody, I should give something to somebody, I should do something. If those sort of thoughts are arising, they are manifestation of the Lord. And you actually say, thank you, Lord, you gave me this thought. And so now I will do this. Okay, the good, you pursue the good. So this is what he says, I'm the goodness of the good. Whatever good thoughts are coming, and both he's saying, I'm the gambling among the, so both good and bad I am. That's the main point here. And the many points. So one point is understand that Manthara and, Shakuni, whatever they did was by the Lord's order, because that it was required. Manthara was required for destruction of Ravana. Shakuni was required for destruction of the Kauravas. The Lord needed those people. And that's why they had taken birth. Vishnu had taken birth for that. So and then he needed Ravana to capture Sita. Don't you think he knew that? He knew golden deer, there cannot be a golden deer, right? He knew. So all this is his play. Similarly, whatever is happening in our life also is his Leela. Consider it as his Leela and play the role that you have been put into. Whatever role that you're put into, play with joy. Always remembering him. Now, Vrishninam Vasudevosmi Pandavanam Dhananjayah Muninamapyaham Vyasah Kavinamushana Kavi. Among the Vrishnis, I am Vasudeva. Among the Pandavas, I am Dhananjaya. Also among the Munis, I am Vyasa. And among the poets, I am Ushana, the great seer. So Vrishni is the Kula, is the family in which Bhagwan Shri Krishna was born. And Vasudeva is his father. Now Vasudeva, one meaning of it, that's one is name, the father's name, but Vasudeva is one who has a pure heart. When the heart is purified of Rajas and Tamas, the Lord takes birth in that heart. That is why Vasudeva was born to Vasudeva, because Vasudeva is the one who is a pure-hearted one. And pure heart is absence of Rajas or very minimal Rajas and Tamas, more Sattva. When more Sattva is developed in the heart, in the mind, Bhagwan takes birth. How does Bhagwan take birth? By giving us the thoughts that take us closer to him. That's the idea. How does Bhagwan take birth? When I think, oh, you know what? There's satsang today. Let me not go for a movie. There's a class. Let me go to the class. Let me not do this. Let me give up that for my. When all these type of thoughts come to us, then you know that Bhagwan is taking birth in our mind. Okay, so that is why he says, I'm Vasudeva. I'm the one who is pure hearted. In that heart, I will take birth. Like Krishna took birth in Vasudeva as Vasudev's child. Among the Pandavas, Dhananjaya is one who collects dhana. Dhana is wealth. And among the five brothers, Arjun and Bhima were the ones that were going out to fight. See, there were five brothers. The oldest one was king, so they could never risk his life. So he was always staying in Indraprastha, in their kingdom. They could never risk his life. The younger two were young brothers, so they couldn't send them to fight either. So the middle two brothers, and especially Arjun, because he was very valorous, I told you, all the wars. So these two brothers always were sent to war. If there was any kind of war or anything that, had to happen, these two. And among these two, Arjun, of course, was even a greater warrior. And then he could even, now in next chapter it will come, he could even fight it, he could sleep, he could be, he means for one whole month he would not sleep, and yet he would be able to fight with great prowess. That was his this thing. Also, he was left-handed as well as right-handed. Both hands he could use. Both equal dexterity in both hands. So he could hold the bow in the right hand and arrow in the left hand, and he was equally strong as if he would have held the bow in the left hand and arrow in the right hand. That's what his prowess was. So he was the collector of wealth for the Pandavas. Therefore, his name was Dhananjaya. Now, when you add Sa to it, Sa Dhananjaya, when Sa is added, that Dhana becomes spiritual wealth. Sa Dhananjaya. So that's why I'm Dhananjaya. I'm Dhananjaya, he said. So I'm the one because of whom all this material prosperity you could gain, but also your spiritual emancipation. I am the one representing. So you are my representation among the Pandava brothers. Muninam Vyasa, what to talk about Vyasa Muni? He himself is a avatar, Jnana avatar of Vishnu Bhagwan. He is the one who compiled the Vedas. He is the one that wrote all the Puranas. He is the one that wrote Bhagavad Puran. He wrote Mahabharata. He wrote Bhagavad Gita. So obviously Bhagwan Krishna says he is my manifestation. Vyasa. And Ushana is the name, one name of Shukracharya. So among the Kavi, poets, this Kavi word came in chapter 9. Okay, Kavi, in Hindi there is a saying, Kavi jaye jahan Ravi na jaye. So Ravi's sun, where even the sun cannot go, the poet can go. Why? Through his imagination. See, those who imagined in those days that we could land on the moon, they were poets. How did they? That was an imagination. No, what space travel was unheard of. Right? So, poets, therefore, the realized master is known as poet. You know why? Because he is reaching Brahman where other people where sun cannot reach. Chapter 15, Bhagavan will say, the brightness in the sun is, already in this chapter also he said, so sun cannot reach, means eyes cannot reach, but the poet can reach. So realized masters are known as poets. That poet means not the poet one who is writing poetry, but one who has this imagination which can take him to places which normally people can't go. Okay, so and this Ushana is Shukracharya, and Shukracharya is the guru of Raja Bali, by the way. Okay, so he says Shukracharya, Ushana Kavi, is my manifestation. That is what he is telling here. All right, so we'll stop here for today. So 37, and I believe it's 42, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, I think we are coming to the end. Yeah. Oh, yeah, 42. Perfect. 38. So chances are that I will complete this chapter next Sunday. And if I can go a little bit over, this is a Balber. But anyway, I should be able to complete it. If I complete it, we will stop the classes for this year. If I don't, I'll take a little class on 14th. So by the end of December, by the time we close, we will complete this chapter. I wanted to ask all of you whether you want to do discussion on this chapter, or whether you want to do only the first 10, which are more important, or all of them. And also this time, if you want to do discussion, you have the break, 2-3 week break. I want you guys to decide what verses you want to do. So I'm not going to this thing. You can decide. Whatever you think, 4 verses, 3 verses, 2 verses. See, some of these verses are going very fast. So you can take more than one verse. If you want, you can take one verse. You can take 2, 3, whatever. So I'm going to give you the freedom now. You're mature enough. We are doing chapter 10. And so we are going to complete this chapter either next Sunday. If you complete it next Sunday, then the following Sunday there won't be a class. If we don't complete it, we'll have a class on the 14th, and that will be our last class. And you will select the verses, and you can just maybe Prem Sai can get a list going if you can let him know, or if I let him know. So get a list going so that people don't repeat the verses. We don't want any repetition in this this chapter, because really there is not much. I mean, there is much, but not that way. So just put down whatever verses that you want. Any questions? Anybody has any questions? ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काल